Over the last few days, we've talked a lot about Yermin Mercedes, who was sent down by the Chicago White Sox. He retired and then he unretired. As you guys can see, Yermin hit an absolute bomb yesterday for his AAA club. But then former White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen, he called Yermin Mercedes a cheeseburger fat boy.
You're not Abreu. You're not Tim Anderson. You are a cheeseburger kid, fat boy. You're lucky to be in the big league.
What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. If this is your first time on the channel, we do this every single day, so don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 350,000 subs. I can't believe I'm even saying that out loud, so thank you all so much for the support. And remember, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek if you're going to any baseball games anytime soon. Save yourself 20 bucks off. Now, for the first time of 2021 that I can remember, there was not a single walk-off victory from yesterday, so let's talk about the Red Sox versus the Yankees first and foremost. And then we'll talk about the Rays, because Nelson Cruz, God, he will not leave me alone. So we have Gerrit Cole trying to get the Yankees back on track yesterday, and Brett Gardner, he starts off the game pretty good for the Yankees on this RBI double. Now, unfortunately for the Red Sox, Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez, had to get taken out because of migraine issues, but then Phillips Valdez turned in the relief appearance of the year. 3 innings, only 1 hit on 7 strikeouts, and Rafael Devers, this kid is unreal. He's 24 years old. He already has 25 home runs. JK make it 26. That was career home run number 100 for Rafael Devers, and he also became the first 24-year-old in Boston Red Sox history to have 25 home runs and 25 doubles before the month of August. Ted Williams couldn't do that. I'm not sure if David Ortiz was 24 by the time that he joined the Red Sox, but there's been a lot of young talent for the Red Sox, and none of them have done that. He now has 79 RBIs on the year and a 3.8 WAR. I just want to mention Gerrit Cole. He was painting 101 mile per hour fastballs on the black, but unfortunately, Devers, he got to him. The Yankees need some help, especially if they want to keep up with the Red Sox, but not even just the Red Sox, the Tampa Bay Rays as well. Let me tell you guys, as a Cleveland fan who just watched them 2 games in a row, they refuse to give up. Now, it looks like Cleveland gave up on this play because Randy Arozarena hits an inside the park Little League home run, and I just want to say I was not excited for this series as soon as they announced that Nelson Cruz was traded to the Rays, because I was like, yay, he's gone from the Twins. We don't have to face him anymore. And then the baseball gods say, hey, you still have to face him because now you're going against the Rays. Either way, he hits a home run in his debut at 41 years old, and it's not fun facing Nelson Cruz. J-Ram, he makes up for the few errors he caused in the first inning on that inside the park home run, and then he drives in his 4th RBI later on in the game on a triple. And of course, what happens, the Cleveland bullpen, who has been pretty steady the first few months of the season, they have been imploding left and right over the last few weeks. So they give Tampa Bay their 6th win in a row, and Manuel Margot, he's almost back, and a lot of people are speculating that Kevin Kiermaier is going to be on the chopping block. So will he get traded to offload the contracts? You guys will have to let me know in the comment section down below. And I just want to mention that Cleveland fans were going after not only Nick Wickram, who blew the tie in the 9th inning, but they were going after his wife as well. Don't be a straight up degenerate. You're an absolute loser if you go after the family members of players. Like, cut that out. Also, I want to mention that Nelson Cruz joins history. He is one of 3 players ever to have 10 seasons of 20-plus home runs after the age of 30. He joins Barry Bonds and Hank Aaron. That's some pretty good company. All right, moving on over to a few NL West teams and whether they won or lost yesterday. The Pirates were facing off against San Francisco, and Gregory Polanco, I only write the last names in my script, so I got confused for a second. He drives in an RBI on a triple, and then Brian Reynolds goes 417 to right field, but then Steven Duggar and Alex Dickerson, they fight all the way back to tied up. A bases loaded walk in the 7th, and then a horrible error from Lamont Wade Jr. at first base allows 2 runs for the Pirates to score, and then Richard Rodriguez, he closes it out for his 14th save of the year, and the Padres, they gain a game. We'll talk about it in just a moment because the Dodgers, they also lost. Let's talk about that. The Rockies, they beat the Dodgers 9-6 yesterday, even though LA went up 4-1 after Justin Turner hits a home run, but then Trevor Story, Ryan McMahon, and Chuck Nasty, they come back to tie it up, and this was all right before Sam Hilliard. This bat flip was a thing of beauty in my opinion. Lefty-lefty crime in the 9th inning as Daniel Bard. He blows the save. He is not very accurate. That is the one thing. He is going to be a scary ninth inning every single time that he goes out there. But then in extras, Trevor Story and Chuck Nasty, they deliver. And again, the Dodgers and the Giants both lose yesterday, so that means the Padres, they have to win, and they did. They beat the Marlins 5-2. Tommy Pham, he muscles a home run to right field, and then Machado and Trent Grisham, they make it 3-0. Then all of a sudden, the Marlins bats, they decide to wake up as Duvall and Aguilar make it 3-2, but then Machado, he helps out Joe on defense with a sick barehanded grab. San Diego scores a few more later on in the game on some bad defense from the Pirates, and I just want to mention that even though Fernando Tatis Jr. did not play yesterday, no one told me this, but he made history, and it wasn't even close. He became the fastest player ever to reach 50 career home runs and 50 stolen bases. I'm going to throw up the graphic right now. It wasn't even close. I think this is a record that is going to stand the rest of time. No one in the history of baseball is going to be able to do 50-50 faster than what Tatis did. Again, we are witnessing one of the greatest offensive talents in the history of baseball. Fernando Tatis Jr. could be a Hall of Fame talent before he turns 30 years old. That's how good he's been. And not to say, but he's pretty much been the Mike Trout of shortstop, so I mean, that's saying something. Moving on over to the Cubs versus the Diamondbacks, Javier Baez is quietly having a really good season, even though his defense hasn't been as good. He's now up to 22 home runs, 64 RBIs, 13 stolen bases, and then Anthony Rizzo, he's able to score on a wild pitch right before Nico Horner goes the other way for 2 RBIs in the 3rd inning. And Robinson Chirinos hits a home run in the 4th as Zach Davies Ks up 8 different Diamondbacks in just under 6 innings. And then Chirinos, just for some fun, adds a 2nd home run in the 6th inning. Now, I do want to talk about the Phillies because there could be some trades happening in the next few days between the Phillies and the Cubs and a bunch of other teams. JT Realmuto hits homer number 10, and then Freddie Freeman, he ties it up. But that was it for Atlanta, as they only were able to score that 1 run. Gene Segura drives in 2 on a double, and Bryce Harper steals home, which means he stole 2nd base, he stole 3rd base, and he stole home. So he stole all 3 bags yesterday. That was only the 4th time in Phillies history that was accomplished. Zach Wheeler was finally himself yesterday, 1 earned run on 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. And Hoskins, he shows that the Phillies offense is real. They just need 1 more starter and 1 more, maybe 3rd baseman talent or a closer, and that is where Bryson Stott comes into play. So Chris Bryant was taken out yesterday, and then the Phillies AA team took out Bryson Stott and another prospect. So I thought that maybe a trade was going to be happening. Nah, Jeff Passan, the Mickey Mouse reporter, he says nothing is happening, you clown. So yeah, Jeff Passan just lives to dunk on me. In my opinion, I think that Craig Kimbrell to the Phillies makes a lot more sense, considering Chris Bryant, he's going to garner a few more prospects, but then again, he's a rental. You guys have to let me know in the comment section down below, where do you think Kimbrell or Chris Bryant are going to end up? One team where Chris Bryant could end up, the New York Mets. Pete Alonso shows that he has one of the most vicious swings in all of baseball. He hits homer number 20, and then JD Davis, he is trying to keep his spot as the starting 3rd baseman for the Mets. He makes a web gem in the 5th for Tyler Megill. Then Michael Conforto lays out. This was one of the fullest extension dives that I've ever seen in my entire life. It literally made me say, oh my God, out loud. And then Tyler Megill goes 6 shutout innings. He has a 2.1 ERA in 6 starts. And then Pete Alonso hits homer number 21. He does not miss it as it goes 450 feet. Edwin Diaz, he turns in his 20th save of the year, as the Mets are now 4 games ahead of anyone else. But the Phillies, they could be good and actually gain some ground if they get that solid closer and maybe Chris Bryant all in the same trade, maybe even Adam Frazier, who knows. The Mariners are also calling about Adam Frazier, and they should be, because they should reward their players for playing such great baseball over the last 2 months. Cal Raleigh, the switch hitting catcher, picks up his 1st career home run, and then Luis Torrens has basically been prime Mike Piazza over the last few weeks. Matt Chapman, he hits homer number 12, but he is having a down season with only a 96 OPS plus. He's not there towards the overrated category just yet, but a lot of people are saying that Matt Chapman is overrated. I'm just not there yet. Matt Olson hits homer number 26, and Mark Canha, he ties it up. And Yusei Kikuchi, even though he allows 3 runs, he was pretty good. 12 strikeouts in 6 innings, and the Mariners, they grab the lead back on a wild pitch as Kendall Graveman strikes out 2 to get his 10th save of the year. And the Mariners, out of nowhere, are only 7 games back, and if they can get some talent, maybe 1 more starter, maybe Adam Frazier, they could be sneaky. And if not in 2021, they're definitely ahead of schedule for 2022 because, I mean, they haven't even called up Julio Rodriguez, and Jarred Kelenic has been horrible. I don't know what happened to my Astros highlights, but they just vanished from the recording. Either way, you have Yordan Alvarez and Carlos Correa quickly making it a 2-0 lead. And then Kyle Tucker turns into Phil Mickelson. He goes golfing on a 92 fastball at his shoelaces. He golfs it out the park, and yeah, that was pretty much the game. We can see that Mr. Javier was nasty. The Brewers versus the White Sox. This was a close game until it wasn't. Freddie Peralta goes 4 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts on 1 hit, but then he gets taken out because the Brewers are trying to manage his innings, and the Tigers are doing the same thing with Casey Mize. I think that Casey Mize is pitching today. Rowdy Tellez drives in an RBI, and that was it from Lucas Giolito, who goes 6 innings, only allows that 1 earned run. He did walk 5, so he got kind of lucky yesterday. The bullpen for the White Sox, they could not do anything as they allow 6 runs, 4 of them on 1 swing to Tyrone Taylor. A lot of people are saying that Tyrone Taylor is going to get traded. Why would they do that? He's been very solid for them. This was a big time victory for the Brewers because the Reds have been playing such good baseball, even though Paul Goldschmidt hits a 450-foot mammoth shot. Joey Votto comes back to drive in 2, and then Harrison Bader, who is having a breakout season offensively, he ties it and is now up to a 131 OPS plus while playing insane defense. Speaking of insane defense, Tyler O'Neill becomes Spider-Man for a catch over in left field. And this was followed up by Eugenio Suarez driving in an RBI on a double, and then Joey Votto ties it. Apple for Dylan Carlson throws out the runner at home plate. He has an absolute hose for an arm. And then Tyler Stevenson, he is continuing to show off the clutch gene on the sacrifice fly as Heath Hembree, he strikes out the side for his 7th save, and the Reds, they win 6-5 over the Cardinals. Moving on over to the Twins versus the Angels, you have Jose Iglesias and Kurt Suzuki putting the Halos up 3-0, and then Captain Jack Mayfield makes it 4-0, and then he makes an insane grab over at third base in the bottom of the 5th inning as Nick Gordon all of a sudden makes it 4-3, but then Jack Mayfield does it again on a bare hand throw. Unfortunately though, Kurt Suzuki does not have the same skill as Mayfield as he throws the game away literally, and then Taylor Rogers comes in for 2 strikeouts in the 9th for his 9th save of the year, and the Angels have now dropped 7 of their last 10 games. Moving on over to the Royals versus the Tigers. Detroit is trying to keep their 7-game winning streak alive, but they took out Akil Baddoo, so they're 100% going to lose, and they did. Whit Merrifield is now up to 52 RBIs and I think 25 stolen bases. He is having a great season. Ryan O'Hearn with this clutch Oppo Taku, he kind of puts the game out of reach. And then Nicky Lopez all of a sudden wanted to become Derek Jeter for a play with this off the back foot play. Carlos Santana is now up to 16 home runs and a 113 OPS plus at 35 years old. And Chris Bubich, 1 earned run in 6 innings, so he was very solid. So the Tigers' 7-game winning streak was ruined, in my opinion, because a fraud Hinch did not play Akil Baddoo, and Kansas City is now on a 3-game winning streak. Also, that was a joke. I think AJ Hinch has done a fantastic job for the Tigers. I mean, honestly, if anyone was going to win from that Astros cheating scandal, it was the Tigers. And then last but not least, the Orioles versus the Nationals. Josh Bell, he kickstarts the game for Washington, and that was it. As Austin Hayes drives in an RBI, and then Ramon Urias makes it 2-1. Pat Velika, he shows up big time with the home run in the 5th. The Orioles, they score a few more in between, and then Velika does it again in the 7th inning. So the Orioles, they win 6-1. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to hit subscribe. Remember to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off your entire order. Ooh, this was a long video. I'm almost about to black out. All right, I'm going to go get some coffee. Enjoy this day in MLB history. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Ooh, that was rough.
1-2 delivery on the way. Pujols waiting on it. That's shallow center field. It's Santander, and they got it! And Wilkerson gets the save. And the Orioles have won a 10-8 ball game in 16 innings.